Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. It's Wednesday again already. A lot has been going on in the world of big time, so we are here to do another What's New Wednesday. Plenty of new things going on, so let's just dive right into it. Start off with how the token price has been doing. Last week, we saw the token pump so high, pumped from 20 cents all the way up to $1. It has sort of settled down now at around 60 cents, ranging the bottom end at about 50 cents, and the top end is kind of hit around 80 cents. And kind of curious to see where it's going to go. So let's take a quick look at the chart. Last week we saw it go all the way down from 20 cents all the way up to $1. Since then, it's kind of settled down around 60 cents. We've seen it sort of range a bit down below 60 cents towards 50 cents, and a bit above 60 cents up to 80 cents. But the average sort of range here is we see it kind of hitting between 60 and 70 cents here. So not really sure what to expect here, but pretty curious to see if we will see it go up towards all-time high. It'll have to break above this sort of resistance around 70 cents and turn that into support. So we'll see what happens there. That's the token. Next thing is Big Time has released an economy update. The economy update is a game changer. A lot of things here that's changed crafting across the board. One of the biggest things is cosmetic shard refining, premium currency refining. Now it costs more shards to refine. So for example, if you're crafting augmented terracore, it'll take 75 raw terracore instead of the 45 that it used to take. However, you will get 10 more augmented terracore. The amount produced is increased from a stack of 15 to a stack of 25. That means that you basically produce exactly the same size stack as what's required in the premium currencies if you were to sell it. So that is one of the new changes. It also means that what they've done is they've kept the costs of Big Time per refine the same. So you need more shards, you get more in each stack, but it costs the same amount of Big Time. And I think they're doing this to try and sort of work alongside what the token price has been doing. So they're not going to make us have to use even more Big Time or pay even more, essentially, because Big Time is so much more expensive. And they've also increased the amount of workshop XP gained from refining. So it used to be like 100, now it's 200. Still nothing like super crazy, but it does add up because right now, especially with the cost of Big Time, it is really hard to rationalize refining. Anyway, so one of the other big additions here, so this is a big one. As far as the refining, the gist is that it just costs more raw ingredients, but you get more refined ingredients, and the amount of Big Time is the same. Next is we have the Hourglass crafting. So what they've done is they've turned Time Wardens, which have previously been sort of like this, they've kind of like stood apart as this bastion of a thing that people can craft using only fiat-based soft currency, which is time crystals. So you just need dollars in equals Hourglass, right? That's essentially that money and time. You didn't need to worry about Big Time farming it or buying it off of a market or anything like that. They've turned that into a Big Time sink, just like the workshop and the armory. So what that means is now you do need to spend Big Time in order to craft an Hourglass. And the way they've done this is that you need to use augmented terracore or, you know, saturated terracore along with augmented lattice and saturated lattice, depending on the rarity of the Hourglass you're crafting, in order to craft that Hourglass. So what does that mean? The benefit here is, along with this addition, they've reduced the amount of Hourglasses required to craft the higher rarity Hourglass all the way down to 3 again. But yeah, so 3 Hourglasses. It's kind of nice not having to use 5 common Hourglasses to create 1 uncommon now. With these changes, we saw a huge boom and bust this week for Hourglasses. We saw Hourglass prices jump all the way up to $800 or more, and then fall all the way down to about their average price, about $550, for example, for a rare. And we saw uncommons kind of jump up close to 200. Now they're back down to 130. It's been a lot, and the reason why we've seen these crazy changes is because the profit margins for crafting hourglasses is significantly changed, right? So up until this update, in order to, like, if you were crafting a common hourglass and you just went to go sell it on the market, your profit margin would probably be somewhere around 75%. It costs about $2.50 to craft a common hourglass, along with, you know, time. And then you could turn around and sell that for about $12 to $20, and that's a great profit margin. Now, though, since crafting a common hourglass requires augmented terracore and augmented lattice, the cost to craft it is about $20. I'll show you guys here. We'll jump into big time quickly. So these are huge changes. Huge changes. Okay, so let's say I wanted to craft a common. It requires 12 augmented blush fire and 12 augmented terracore, along with 250 time crystals. So, and what does that mean? That means that if you look at the marketplace and you look at hourglasses, wow, a common hourglass is $22. How are you're losing money if you're crafting these, if you're trying to sell them now, right? The profit margin has literally decreased to less than zero to craft common hourglasses and just try and sell them. What does that mean, right? There's been a lot of effects across the board when it comes to the overall market. The fallout has been that if you look at time wardens, right, this has drastically affected the time warden price. Drastically. Common time wardens had like, we're touching at about $800 before this update. And because you could actually, people were thinking, like, and they were doing the math thinking, okay, if I buy a common time warden at $800 and I know my profit margin for hourglasses is about 75-80%, cost me $2 to craft an hourglass, and I can sell it for like almost double, right? 75%, then how long will it take for me to pay off this time warden? But of course, with all these lovely hourglass crafting changes, it made it perfect time for Big Time to introduce an hourglass crafting event. So the event went from December 8th to the December 12th, and it gave people these lovely benefits. They got a 24-hour reduction in crafting time for all recipes, which was, you know, huge. You could craft like an epic for much faster. 30% reduced cost in mod chips, so it took 30% less mod chips if you wanted to roll on benefits, and you also got double leaderboard points, so that was kind of cool. I managed to craft my first epic during that event, but overall I think that a lot of people are struggling to adapt to these crafting changes. So to make this even more confusing, the past several days there have been changes to the hourglass drop rates that have confused a lot of hourglass crafters, big time farmers. So whether you have common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary glasses, there's been a glitch that has resulted in wearing just one cracked hourglass, like a cracked common hourglass, outpacing big time token drop rates compared to pretty much any combination of 2 to 5 crafted hourglasses. This has been pretty exciting. It's been cool to see a lot of people who either don't have time wardens or only have one hourglass slot unlocked, or, you know, a number of other reasons, you know, trying to be really economical. They're finally able to like get their fill of big time tokens. I've heard of people who are wearing one cracked uncommon or one cracked common hourglass, finishing a day with making over 300 big time tokens. Congratulations to them. But I think it's safe to say that this has further confused the big time farmers and hourglass crafters who have been putting a lot of time, money, and all that sort of stuff into crafting and charging higher rarity hourglasses and having them be rendered essentially useless. So that's just sort of insult to injury, in my opinion. Yesterday, they put out an update essentially to try and adjust this oversight. And yesterday I was running a bunch of prestiges. I ran, you know, prestiges for several hours, and I was wearing 2 rare crafted hourglasses and 3 common ones. And the rest of my party was still running 1 hourglass, whether it was crafted or uncommon. Honestly, I didn't really feel like the drop rates were very much different. A lot of people wearing 1 hourglass were still earning as much or more than me per dungeon, and I even had a couple of dungeons where I didn't earn any big time tokens, whereas they did. So not really sure what's going on there, but that's been a huge bit of under the radar news, I think that should be sort of surfaced. Something that's definitely going on in the big time community is just people dealing with these interesting Hourglass drop rates. Now we have a new crafting event starting yesterday and ending on December the 15th. This is a cosmetic crafting blitz. Pretty standard crafting event. You get 50% reduction in crafting costs across the board, which is kind of nice. You can craft whatever you want for less, and you get double leaderboard points, and you get double workshop XP points. That's about it. I think that a lot of people are going to be capitalizing on this. We'll see a lot of people going up and down the leaderboard based on depending on what they're crafting or if they're crafting in this event. Lastly, last but not least, it wouldn't be the holidays without some sort of festive jackpot mystery box announced today, and it's selling on Friday. Not a lot of time for people to decide if they want that mystery box to be under their Christmas trees this season. The main benefit is that there are kind of higher rarity drops, especially if you're comparing it to a mystery box, kind of like one of the more recent ones that dropped is the fabricated box. So I'm not really sure how I feel about this box, right? Price point is $750. Same price point as the Paragon box. The minimum rarity of the Paragon box was Exalted and above. The minimum rarity of this is Epic and above. But with this new box, you get options. You get either the chance to get more time crystals or the chance to get less time crystals in the Paragon box. And you have maybe a 10% chance to get a Time Warden, and then 35% chance to get screwed over. And I don't know. Furthermore, to add insult to injury, a lot of people still have a sour taste in their mouth thanks to the last mystery box that minted out not even 10 days ago. So who's going to want to mint this? Even if they had the funds, would they want to? And then also all these people who moved money around for that box that was 10 days ago, they might have already reallocated that money, reinvested it, done all sorts of things to try and recoup the loss. That's about everything that's new with Big Time this week. Thank you guys all for being here, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time.